First story, Jimmy Fallon is being, I guess the term now is canceled over the blackface. If anyone else thinks this is offensive, I want to be clear. I am not calling for Jimmy Fallon to be punished, canceled. I don't think he did anything wrong, and I hate it when conservatives do the identity politics, go tit for tat. No, this is an opportunity, by the way, to build a bridge and let Jimmy Fallon know. See, they will go after anyone. Remember when they went after you for being semi-kind to Trump? Now they're going after you for a sketch that you did in open daylight that everyone thought was funny. It was okay. A few years ago. Remember this the next time your producers and your higher-ups over there at NBC want you to, is it NBC? Yeah, NBC. I always forget the networks. I don't watch them.
No, the alphabets.
I still think of the Indian going, ooh, Native American. Remember that. Next time they want you to be outraged at someone else, Jimmy Fallon, don't lead the charge because it will be led against you. Let's watch a portion of the sketch in question.
Now we're talking. Where is he? Man, oh man, read this book. I've seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and guess what? Not a lot of black folks on the show. Right. Not a lot of black folks on the show. You know why? Because black folks don't like to answer questions. Oh, they want to be millionaires, but you got to ask that kind of questions like, in 1981, how many grams of crack did Rick James smoke when he recorded Super Freak? Regis, you think the only way to get a brother on the show is to name it Who Wants $50 Cash and a Pair of Pumas?
You know what's funny is I remember that was actually a portion that was taken from his album where he just did celebrity impressions.
Yes.
And one of them was just talking about like his, what's the name of that on a dorm floor? Is it the RA? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
He was like Chris Rock where you're RA. He's like, I don't need to know that your roommate is smoking crack. Just tell him to inhale through the empty toilet paper roll filled with dry sheets. Leave him alone. That was his whole bit. And I thought it was relatively funny. I think we've seen how far impressions have come when you look at like Frank Caliendo and people like that. Just better.
He's gotten a lot better.
I still think he's pretty good. His musical impressions are top notch.
And this is 2001? Is that right?
Yeah. 2000.
2000.
It was pre end of funny. And even it wasn't that funny back then, but
Funny
at least they
things are
could,
still
have a big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Now you can't even swing the bat. If it were Signs, the aliens would just take over. There'd be no glasses of water. There'd be no baseball bats to just, to ruin
Nobody.
the ending.
Yeah, that's
And hopefully not a horrible, crappy CGI alien that ruins the film. M. Night Shyamalan hovering over a kid going, eh?
Yeah, it's not like it was on screen that long. How much could that have cost to make better?
Oh my gosh, it was so bad. M. Night Shyamalan, you screwed me again. So
good movie otherwise.
This isn't an isolated incident, and of course, in case you've forgotten, Jimmy Kimmel, another late night host, did this, and I should say this next one is definitively more racist, and I'll explain why.
If any of them are racist, that's what it is.
It's going to be
Carl Malone. Maybe I should be very honest. Definitively more racist. But I found this sketch actually funnier. So I don't know what that says about me. But let's watch it.
Sometime at night, Carl Malone look up in the sky and say, what the hell going on up there? Do UFO live on other planet, phoning home like E.T.? Carl Malone read on TV about white people getting deducted by alien, sticking all kind of hell up their butt. And that's a damn thing. Now, Carl Malone never seen no flying saucer himself, but if he do, that's going to be a spooky time.
Okay.
Ooh, said spooky. Wrong word choice.
He's not Robert Byrd. He can say it.
That was Jimmy Kimmel.
That was Jimmy Kimmel, And the thing is, the reason that's more... I don't think it's racist. I think he's just implying that Carl Malone is dumb.
Sure.
But,
He's so
accurate. Jimmy
know.
Fallon is doing an impression of his friend, Chris Rock.
Right.
It's not a minstrel show. He's not stealing money from black people. Chris Rock's not out of work because of Jimmy Fallon doing it. But Jimmy Kimmel is basically saying, hey, Carl Malone speaks like a caveman. Big, dumb black man. You know what I mean? That's what he's doing. He's going big, dumb black basketball player and talking about white people.
Dumb.
I don't take it as though he's saying all black people are dumb. I don't think that he believes that. But if we're playing by the left's standards, that is, it's not even on the line. Look behind you, there's the line. But what I do think is important to note, that first one was 2001. I think Carl Malone was somewhere in the early 2000s. Here's what people need to understand. When you see that was on Comedy Central, Carl Malone. Jimmy Fallon was on, that was on SNL.
SNL.
That was out in the open, and there wasn't a peep. There was no controversy. In other words, at that point in time, in 2001, people did not view that as racist. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean that's before we learned about blackface. No, minstrel shows had already existed. The shoe polish and lipstick had already existed, and we agreed, don't do that. That's bad. The minstrel shows, blackface. And then we had evolved as a society to realize that someone doing an impression of their comedian friend who signed off on it, like Chris Rock, is not the same thing as blackface. We can enjoy a laugh. And now we've regressed where we're comparing all depictions of black celebrities by white people as minstrel shows and blackface again. The fact that this was so out in the open tells you that 10, 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't viewed as racist, and it wasn't intended to be racist, and it wasn't seen that way by members of the black community at large back then. Now, I'm not saying I speak for all black people, but again, you could go back to whatever it was. I don't know if it's Ebony Magazine,
Something.
Jet.
When did it?
Great publication.
When did it switch
They
from
weren't-
not being racist to being racist? Because I had never even
2016.
My robe got caught in a
caught
wheel.
in the chair. What the hell's the matter?
It's like a conveyor belt
Get
with
you
a
a
wedding
shorter
ring
robe.
where it's going to lose. Sorry, go ahead.
Emperor Palpatine. Jeez. When did it become racist? I had no idea. In fact, about a year ago, I asked the Hodge
Gerald, I
twins
told you
this whole
last weekend
question.
when you were wearing blackface. It's racist.
There was
No,
a
I mean
line.
really. So this
You
is
crossed
early
it.
2000s. When
I
like
get
what
that
was
I
the
get that
defining
your wife's
moment?
a firecracker, but she's going to have to. We all have to make some sacrifices.
Stop it.
And you know what?
You don't know. That's the answer.
You
don't know.
She's just gonna have to do with little old Gerald, not white Dennis Rodman.
Oh my gosh.
It's true.
I play a mean Dennis Rodman.
You do play great Dennis Rodman. It's uncanny how much he looks like a white Dennis Rodman.
I was going to say he looks like a white Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Ow.
Oh, Why?
way too
Come
cold.
on,
Yeah.
that's just not necessary. Well, no, look, I had no idea what this was all about. We were talking about it on a segment. We had the Hodge twins kind of in the green room, and I went in and I asked them after a few minutes of conversation. I was like, "Hey, dumb question. If this is offensive, I'm sorry. What is this all about?" And they told me like, okay, back in the 50s and 60s and stuff that was being done. I was like, yeah, but that's not what's being done anymore. Nobody's doing that people are pointing out. So what's the deal? Like, why is it a thing?
I mean, this comes to now. I've always talked about trying to not ascribe motive or intent, and this goes beyond that. It goes creating one that isn't there. It doesn't go.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to the realm of not giving someone the benefit of the doubt. For example, we have I look at Jimmy Fallon and I go, oh, he's doing an impression of his friend. No one was offended. Fine. Now let's go along that scale. In the middle would be not giving him the benefit of the doubt, going, oh, that's not right. He shouldn't do that. That's racist. Now, on the flip side is where people are going saying he's doing that specifically to belittle and insult all black people. That's why he needs to be removed. No. We are actually attributing, not we, but society right now at large, a false motivation, one that we know is verifiably untrue. You can say someone's tone deaf, and we'll get to Joe Biden in a little bit, but
It's a poster child.
to assume that someone is doing that, and that's what minstrel shows were. It was really clear.
Right.
They'd go, uh-oh, here comes Mr. Johnson. Well, I do say I can't read, oh, Mr. Pennywagon.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, and I don't know why the blackface was Adam Sandler. I do say, I'm working on a cotton field.
Little foghorn, leghorn.
My hand's hurt.
Yeah.
Damn, you set weight off.
Yeah.
But it was,
His button.
That's it.
Yeah, but if somebody, like you said, is doing an impression of somebody else, I mean, on the flip side, do you remember when the Wayans brothers did White Chicks? I mean, I never
It was a
saw
whole
it.
movie.
I'm just
Terrible
saying.
film,
But is it
but
the
not
same
because
thing?
it's
They're
racist.
doing whiteface. It's like, well,
God,
no
it's
white
not the same
person
thing.
has
You
ever
sound
offended by
so
that.
white right now, Gerald.
It's not the same thing because there isn't history of black people doing whiteface.
They
in a
were
position of
making.
power.
I understand that, but there is not history of doing an impression of somebody that's an accurate impression of that person and it being racist either.
Right, but it's
That's my
closer to the
point.
through line of history of doing an impression of black people, putting on black makeup specifically to insult black people. That was never done toward
Only
white
if
people.
you do what you just did, though. That's my point. You have to make it
Yeah,
so
but the point is, but there
outlandish.
was never even that in
I know,
whiteface.
I know. I'm just saying it doesn't matter.
Actually,
either way.
there was with Dave Chappelle.
That's true.
You know, there's the white person voice that every black
Yeah.
comedian does, and it sounds something like this, where apparently we
Yeah.
all walk around and sound like this when we talk about the color.
Eddie Murphy did it in the 80s.
Yeah, Mr. White.
Banana
was
in
his
the
name.
tailpipe. Yeah.
Okay, so just to be clear about this, before we get to the apology, I know someone else is going to, maybe someone who speaks very clearly with great diction at Vox might put a supercut together. Have we ever done the blackface? Roll tape.
Hello, my name's QBG. And did you know that itty-bitty microscopic creatures crawl all over your everyday objects? Mm-hmm. They're on your phones, on your computers, and even on your doorknobs.
But he'll still get to enjoy his last meal of his favorite chowder on this mug, or from this mug. louderwithcrowder.com/mug club. He likes it. Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau is here, so show him you love him. We're really grateful to,
Mr. King, Sean King, glad to have you here. Welcome.
Yeah, well, I wish I could say I was happy to be here, but I felt it was a necessity. So, you know.
Now, and I understand that many of you might be wanting an apology. Wait for it. So we're going to be talking about the COVID states as well. It's important to note that Jimmy Fallon did apologize. I think we have this here. He said, I am so sorry.
Can't believe it.
But, like, it's false remorse.
No
it's false
excuse.
remorse because you went into it with eyes wide open.
Yeah.
This happened for years. The only reason you're apologizing is because the mob is going after you. And by the way, this isn't going to help you. They are going to devour you. Just remember this. When it happens again, when it happens to someone else, don't get out your torch and pitchfork. And conservatives, don't demand that he be removed because you will regress if we do that. Reach out to people and say, see, this is a double standard. It's not only a double standard, it's an impossible standard to meet. By the way, as far as that blackface thing, first one, Garrett is quarter black, right? Hodge twins are actually black.
They are.
Trudeau was because Trudeau, that's his raison d'etre. He's a blackface connoisseur.
He loves it.
Like fine wine. He's a blackface sommelier.
He knows it. That's blackface.
He knows
by
the
proxy.
entire spectrum of Kiwi shoe polish and which ones work best.
Which
Kiwi's
shade
good.
today?
And the last one was a white guy, Sean King.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
whenever we
That
do
doesn't
it,
count at
it's
all.
couched in something. Because the problem is also he's a huckster and he's a fraud, apparently, if
true.
you've been reading the
Well,
recent
yes, of
articles about
course.
Sean King. But the Jimmy Fallon thing, I don't have any outrage left to give.
No.
And I just hate it when you see conservatives playing identity politics.